Hello, Helen Chin-Lu here, certified reflexologist, certified energy medicine practitioner, Reiki master and teacher, the owner of the Healing Place and the Healing Place Energy School. Yesterday, we had this really interesting conversation about the 5 giveaways, how we give away our powers. For those people who have missed it, the 5 are: what are your addictions? How recognizing your repetitive behavior patterns, usually they're destructive. Talk about financial challenges, health challenges, and also, here I'm going, and especially if you're emotionally out of sync. So those are the 5 things that we normally give away our healing powers to somebody else or to something else. And I want to talk to you today, how do we actually give away those healing? How do we give away our powers? And first of all, let me go over some points, and maybe will resonate with you. I have a PowerPoint right here, so I'm trying to see. My eyes, I'm getting old. And unfortunately, I can't see the way I used to, so I got to write a lot of notes, so this way I could share them with you. How do we normally give away our healing powers? First of all, if we think we are a victim and we get stuck in I would call a pattern that we can't get out of. So it not only becomes an emotional disconnection, it's also physical and a spiritual. So what happens when there is negativity that gets stuck in our bodies, unfortunately, it gets implanted on a cellular level. And so if you have a lot of emotional issues that is going on with you, just think about all the years that you've been repeating the same cycle. So one of the things we're going to talk about is mindfulness. Mindfulness is starting to acknowledge and recognize what are your patterns. Because if you don't recognize what you do, if you don't, it just doesn't break. Unfortunately, that's the shame of it all. And once you recognize your patterns, you got to do something about it. Because if you choose and you consciously decide to stay a victim, you got to be okay with where you are. So you can't go back and say, I wish, I could, I should, and then hope that it will change on its own. Because it doesn't happen that way. You have to make a conscious choice of what you're going to do. Once you make this a habit, unfortunately, you have taken upon yourself, it becomes an acceptable behavior pattern on your part, which really, I hate to say, it really sucks. So you've got to decide what is your why and what you are willing to do to make that change. So learning how to be reactive is going to be, you've got to be proactive. You've got to be proactive instead of reactive. Don't wait until you have a meltdown and then do something about it, because that's now how it works. So let me talk about what is power. This is really key, because you got to define what is power. So power is it's a desired outcome. So if whatever your about what is the end result and what do you want it to look like. If you're looking for peace, you're looking for joy, you're looking for happiness, looking for a partner, family, money, think about what you sincerely want. And you've got to be pretty much straight on, because if you have these thoughts that you don't deserve something, guess what? No matter how much wishing you do, your doubts is going to override your desires. It really does. Because I catch myself when I start to have doubts, and I think to myself, how is this serving me? This is something you've got to ask yourself. How is this serving? And the feeling of power, most people are very uncomfortable with power because there's a responsibility that comes with power, and too many people are worried they can't maintain it. So learning how to let go of your fears is going to be key. And stop worrying what you can't maintain. Stop worrying what people are going to view you as, especially as you start to progress on this change. Stop sending your brain mixed messages. I want something today, but I don't know if I'm worthy. I don't know if I could do it. I don't have the education. I don't have the desire. I don't have the, think about all the I don't knows you'd say to yourself every single day. And we always think, well, what if I fail? Well, what if you did? Get up. Try again. You know, you're the only ones going to be embarrassed by it. Your friends will watch you. They'll watch you stumble. But get up, because you're the only one who can please yourself. You're not in competition with anyone else other than you, all right? So one of the things, this is how we leak our powers out of our body all the time. In fact, this is something I talk about in my class, Chakra 101, how we become deficient or excessive with our energy, and we don't know what to do with it. So we're trying to turn the knob and find the right amount of energy. So how do we reclaim this power? Let me see if I can find my slide. One thing I love about this work, we could always do something about it, all right? Everything, there isn't anything that cannot be reclaimed. You just have to make up your mind. This is what you want to do. So, number one, I'm going to give you some, and then tomorrow when we talk again, we're going to go over those 5 leakages and go into more details how the energy gets leaked out. We're going to start off with our addiction. I think that's a good one, because our addiction could be just thoughts that we are so bounded to, because this is they're limited beliefs. That's what we should call it. Again, limited beliefs is something that's been implanted with us when at a young age. So let's come back. Let's reclaim our powers. The first thing you got to do is recognize where your leakages are. So if you know you're giving away your powers, to whom and why. This is really important. You got to understand your why. If you don't understand those whys, and if you consciously choose to stay a victim, you've got to be okay with it and live that way. So you got to know, you got to find your why, your desire to, I want to make a change. And remember, as I mentioned, how is these thoughts serving you? Third, what are your time sucks? What does that mean? Who drains you of your energy? It could be people at work. It could be your friends, your family. And think about how you interact with these people. This is going to be key. And the more you interact and understand, the more you can regain your powers and make changes. And remember, changes don't have to be huge. Start with little itty bitty changes every single day. And yes, is it going to affect your friends and family? Yes, it will. But it will be in a very subtle way that they don't even know that this is happening. And they just know something is different about you, but they can't put their thumb on it. And you could feel good that you're starting to be proactive instead of reactive. So that's my tips. So remember, recognize where your leakages are. Know your desire. Put it on paper. I do this all the time. I put my desire on paper, and that becomes my affirmation. And this is how you this is the law of attraction, and you will attract what you want. But the law of attraction only works if you sincerely want those things. If you unconsciously have a recording going on in the back of your head saying you're not worthy, remember, that's going to cancel out what you want. All right, honey? You got to bring it from the back of your head to the forefront, right there, and plant it. And thirdly, you got to understand what are your energy sucks. So family, work. And start writing these down, make a little note, and we're going to talk tomorrow about addiction. So this is Helen Chin Liu from the Healing Place Energy School, and I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Bye-bye.